Hello and welcome back to our notes on our gross pay unit. So far we've discussed how to calculate how much you make if you are an hourly worker, if you get paid an hourly wage, including overtime. We've discussed how to calculate how much you make if you work for a job that pays you piecewise for everything, for piecework. Today what we're going to talk about is how to calculate how much money you make either in a year or some other time period if you have what is known as a salary, if you're a salaried worker. So our objective today is to determine the salary per pay period. What a salary is it is a fixed amount of money earned on a regular basis. So for instance, I believe I told you that back when I was in high school and working for the town park, I had an hourly job as a lifeguard. Okay, they paid me for every hour that I was there, a certain rate. When I got promoted to assistant supervisor, I was now on a salary. I had a fixed amount of money that I would make per summer, and that wouldn't change even depending on how many hours I worked. Now, that was fine because I ended up making more money as a salaried employee than I did as an hourly employee, but it is just a little bit different. Now, as a teacher, I am also a salaried employee. So we're going to go over a couple formulas. This first one is going to be important for the front. Salary per pay period. When you have a salary, you get paid, depending on how your job is set up, you'll get paid at different points throughout the year. So salary per pay period is how much you get paid each time they pay you. You find the salary per pay period by taking your annual salary and dividing it by the number of pay periods in a year. And we'll talk about the number of pay periods in a year in just a second. On the other hand, this will be important on the back. If you want to find out what your annual salary is, let's say you don't know that off the top of your head, you take your salary per pay period and instead you multiply by the number of pay periods. It's really just kind of the reverse of this. So if you want to find your salary per pay period, you divide your annual salary by the number of pay periods. If you want to find your annual salary, you take the salary per pay period, multiply by the number of pay periods. So let's talk a little bit about pay periods per year. This is the number of times you would get paid if you got paid in at certain time frames. For instance, if you get paid weekly, okay, how many times does that mean you're getting paid per year? Well, you have to think about it. How many weeks are there in a year? You should know this at this point. There are 52 weeks in a year. So if you're getting paid weekly, that means you get paid 52 times per year. Another one, monthly. If you get paid monthly, how many months are there in a year? There's 12. Okay? So these numbers that we're writing down right now, they're very important because this would go under number of pay periods in either of these equations. Quarterly, if we split something into quarters, how many quarters make up a whole? Okay, how many quarters are there to a year? There are 4. Okay, it's right in the word. Quarter means you split something into 4 pieces. Bi-weekly and semi-monthly are tricky ones because bi-weekly and semi-monthly mean you have to do a little bit of math. There's one kind of math operation involved. Bi-weekly means that you don't get paid every week, you get paid every other week. So you get paid one week, you don't get paid the next, then you get paid the next week, don't get paid, don't get paid, and so on and so forth. So if you're only getting paid every other week or every 2 weeks, that's going to take the number of pay periods and it's going to make it smaller, right? The benefit of that is you get more money in those paychecks, okay? So if you're getting paid every other week and there's 52 weeks in a year, we take 52 and we divide by 2 because you're only getting paid every 2 weeks. That means you're getting paid 26 times per year. Semi-monthly is very similar to bi-weekly, but it's not the same. Semi-weekly or semi-monthly means you get paid twice per month. Now you might think, how is that different from bi-weekly? Remember, a month is not quite exactly 4 weeks. So semi-monthly is just a little bit different from bi-weekly. If you get paid twice per month and there's 12 months in a year, 12 times 2 is 24. You need to remember these numbers because they're very important. You need to know how many weeks are in a year and how many months are in a year. From that, you can determine how many pay periods you would have if you get paid bi-weekly or semi-monthly. And you should also know how many quarters there are in a year, but that one's pretty self-explanatory. Let's get to some examples. Beth Huggins is a computer programmer. Her annual salary is $42,648. What would her monthly salary be, and what would her weekly salary be? So if we want to find her monthly salary, that's like saying, let's say she gets paid once per month. If that's true, how much is each of those paychecks worth? We know her annual salary is $42,648. So her monthly salary is going to be her annual salary divided by the number of pay periods. That's $42,648 divided by, well, if we're talking about monthly, we divide by 12. In other words, she makes this with over the course of 12 months. With each month, she gets paid some amount of this. 42,648 divided by 12 equals 3,554. That's how much money she gets paid every month. For 12 months, that will add up to this. Okay, do you see how that works? The monthly is how much she gets paid per month. The annual is the total of that, how much she gets paid in 1 year. Weekly, what if she got paid weekly? That would be taking her annual salary of $42,648 and dividing it by 52, because you're splitting this number up into 52 paychecks. She would make $820.15. Okay? Now that makes sense because a week is smaller than a month. So if you're getting paid every week, you're getting paid more frequently, but that means the amount that you're getting paid is less per week than it would be per month. However, both of them would still work out so that at the end of the year, you're still making the same amount of salary. It's just if you get paid more frequently, those paychecks are going to be less. If you get paid less frequently, those paychecks are going to be more. Now, there's some pros and cons to each of those, depending on how quickly you want your money, how you spend, but it all works out to the same total amount for the year. Let's do some of the practice problems. Michelle is a police officer. Her annual salary is $40,560. What is her bi-weekly salary? So we take her annual salary, $40,560, and we divide by the pay periods for bi-weekly. Bi-weekly means every other week, which means she gets paid 26 times per year. Weekly would be 52, bi-weekly would be 26 times per year. She makes $1,560 per paycheck. She makes that amount every other week. Okay, that's what that means. Last example on the front. Colin Evans is a hotel desk clerk who earns an annual salary of $21,216. What is his weekly salary? So, his salary, $21,216. It's important to note that this is the annual salary, meaning how much he makes in 1 year. Annual means per year. And weekly, that means we divide by 52 because there's 52 weeks in a year, so 52 different paychecks totaling this much. He makes $408 per paycheck. Let's go to the back. Okay, just in case you couldn't see that, let's go to the back. Okay. You are currently working at Welch Allen making medical equipment. That's actually a company out near Syracuse. And you are getting paid $11.50 per hour for 40-hour weeks and time and a half for overtime. You are offered a salary position to be a shift supervisor, which will pay you $1,096 bi-weekly. So what we're going to be doing here is comparing annual salary for different pay periods. A, if you only work 50 weeks per year with no overtime at your hourly rate, which position will pay you more annually and how much more money will you earn? So here, we need to figure out how much they're earning right now because we want to know if you get offered a job, well, or a promotion, you hopefully think that, or you hopefully want it to pay more than you currently make. So let's do the hourly. Okay, so this person is not receiving a salary right now. They make an hourly wage. They work 50 weeks per year with no overtime at their current rate, and they work 40-hour weeks. they get paid $11.50 so that per hour. So this is a little review of hourly wages. $11.50 per hour, and they work 40 hours. That means they make $460 per week. Now, if they make the $460 per week and they work 50 weeks per year and there's no overtime whatsoever, even though they should get paid time and a half, but there's no overtime, $460 per week times 50 weeks means they make $23,000 per year. Okay? Now, what if they earn, and they get this promotion, and they instead earn $1,096 bi-weekly? Remember, bi-weekly means you get paid every other week. That means 26 times per year. So if they make $1,096 per pay period, and there's 26 pay periods, that means that they're going to make $28,496 per year. So we look at the two of these, and we see that the salary is greater than the hourly pay. $28,496 minus $23,000. Let's see what the difference is. The difference in pay is $5,496 difference between hourly and salary. So this is a good idea if you want to do that. This means that you're going to make some more money. It's not always going to work out that way, but in this case it did. So I'm just going to write salary is better in this case. B says, if you work overtime, how much overtime per week would you have to work to make as much as the salary position? So this is saying, what if you did start working overtime at your hourly position? How much would you have to make in order to make up for that difference? Well, let's figure out how much she would get paid for overtime. She gets, right now, or this person gets $11.50 per hour, time and a half for overtime. So let's figure out the overtime rate. Okay, so our overtime wage is going to be $11.50 times 1.5. If they work overtime, this person makes $7.25 per hour. Now that needs to make up for $5,496 of difference. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take that amount, $5,496, if you need to make this much money to make up for the difference, and you make $17.25 per hour of overtime, that should tell us how many overtime hours you have to work. And I get about 318, I'm going to round that to the nearest hour, so 319 hours of overtime. Now, the person was only working 50 weeks per year under this agreement. Okay, they only worked 50 weeks per year. So, if we take the 319 hours of overtime and divide it by 50 weeks, how much more per week would you have to make? Or how much more overtime would you have to do? 6.38 hours of overtime per week. So what that means is you would have to work a little bit more than one extra hour of overtime per day in order to make the same amount as the person, as if you took the salary job. Now, for some people, this might be worth it. For others, this might not. Okay? It all comes down to your personal preference. But the key here is that we see that the salary position pays more than the hourly position if overtime is not included. And what we're really practicing here is taking amounts of money that you make in a certain pay period, such as $1,096 bi-weekly, and figuring out what the annual rate is. Okay? That's it for this video. I'll be back. We have a couple more things to talk about, but we're getting close to the end of the unit. If you have any questions, please let me know. Bye.